Hello, this is Tanya. Um, so I just want to go over some things. Um, I want to share with you guys my childhood, kind of. Um, I want to talk about my mother and the involvement I think my mother has in my targeting. Um, so ever since I've been about 9 years old, my mom was a single mother. Um, she had a husband, but it was an abusive relationship. Um, so we moved a lot. I moved from school to school, and we moved around a lot. And ever since I can remember, my mom used to drive me from 9 years old to Reno, Nevada, to Circus Circus, and we would get a room while she gambled, and I would go to Circus Circus and where all the games are and play all the time. So we would go from Sacramento to Reno like all the time. We were always on the highway going back and forth because she had this gambling problem. And she gambled a lot, and she was addicted to drugs and alcohol. My mom was very, very pretty. She still is a pretty nice looking lady for her age. Um, but I'm of darker skin complexion. My mom is really light complected, so she's really light complected with the real pretty hair, and to society, that's really pretty. Um, so at a young age, I remember my mom had me. I could have been about 11, I think, about 11. I remember being at this guy's house. He was a dope dealer. My mom was on crack then. And I remember her having me play with the man in the bed, play with his private part while she smoked up his crack. And I remember her, I guess, taking the whole bag of crack that he had out. He had went to the restroom, and so she took the whole bag of crack that he had set up there for her to smoke. And she said, "Come on, let's go." So I remember us running down the street, and him finally coming out trying to chase us. But she had got away with like his whole bag of crack or whatever. So I remember that. And I remember going to like Reno with her, and she would meet like older guys and bring them back to the motel room. And she would get them drunk and rob them. And I used to feel bad for the guys and just all kind of stuff. And my mom got me started doing um, crank um, when I was 15. Now, she always allowed me to drink. So I started drinking when I was like 12. So I was always allowed to drink beer. Um, and then she introduced me to the heavy drug crank at about 15 years old. So I started doing crank with her when I was about 15 years old. Um, and then, you know, my mom used to go to the racetrack all the time and gamble at Cal Expo in Sacramento. And she used to meet, the rich white guys, and she used to meet the trainers and the jockeys. And she used to have me go in the cars with them, the white guys. I remember going in the cars with a couple white guys and fundle with them and let them fundle me. And, you know, they'd give me about $40 or $60, and she would get a couple $100. And we'd go back into the place. She would already be in the place while I'm in the car with the guy. And we'd go back in there and gamble. $40 was a lot to me at 15, 40, $60. So she was like, now I can look back and say she was my handler. She has always been my handler. And, but I kind of stared, I mean, I didn't like doing that to men or letting men do that to me. Um, so I used to get high with my mom all the time. And then uh, as time went on, she stopped doing drugs. She stopped doing drugs eventually. And I kept on doing drugs. And I kept doing, I went from crank to crystal meth. and I kept drinking and all this stuff. And then I would quit for a while and go back. It was like my go-to thing. Um, and then I remember having like my first set of kids that I had with my first husband. Um, she would tell me like, her and her husband that she's with now. She would say, "Leave your kids here with me until you get yourself together." So I thought because they had a home and they had nice cars and a little bit more money, they were more stable than me. And her husband used to be a ex crackhead. They always been alcoholics. They never stopped drinking. They're still alcoholics till today. So I was influenced to leave my kids with them. But in the end, their dad ended up getting custody of them, which now my daughter, I think she was like 11 then, 9 or 11, when the dad got custody of them. But now my oldest daughter is 26. So her dad raised them, basically, the dad and the stepmom. So I'm kind of glad going through all of this that they got raised somewhere else, because if they would have stayed around me and my mother, she would have turned them evil and me not knowing it. Should have been a big influence on them. Um, so then I had my second set of kids. And with the second set of kids, she did the same thing. I still didn't have my life all the way together. It was still incomplete. Going from guy to guy, um, getting on and off the alcohol and drugs, um, moving from place to place. Um, she never really taught me anything about real life. Like, you need to work and keep a job. You need to stay in school. You need to do this. Like, so I didn't grow up with that. And I wasn't really good at the streets because I kind of like, and people knew I wasn't. So I could, be around people and get high or drink or whatever, or some guy really be trying to sleep with me or mess with me. And I didn't like that. I didn't want that. It was like, ugh, I'm too good for that. That's what I was thinking in my head, like, ugh, that's so nasty. That's so gross. Ugh, I don't see how they do it. I don't see how you, and I would tell the girls, like, I don't see how you guys do that. That's so nasty. Ugh, gross. Like, that was my outlook on it. And that's how I thought. And then probably my mouth got me in trouble with a lot of people on the streets because that's how I felt. That's how I truly felt. Like, that's nasty. That's going against God. Ugh, that's gross. Like, ugh, you know? Because I always knew there was a God, and I always talked about God. No matter what I was doing, sin or whatever I was doing, I knew that there was a creator that was powerful and that had created me and created this world and had created everyone else in this world. And that I was doing bad things and it was wrong. And other people were doing bad things and it was wrong. So I always had a conscience. So my mom kind of convinced me, oh, let me take care of your kids, blah, 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 da, da, da. So this whole time I've been going through substance abuse and bad relationships. And then um, all this stuff, and she's better. I'm thinking that they're better than me. But now, me going through all this targeting and me finding out that she's been a part of it for a long time makes a lot of sense, because she's always been one of those mothers that to where um, I'll help you out a little bit, but I don't want you to prosper. I want you to depend on me for the rest of your life, or be underneath me for the rest of your life, kind of deal. If that makes any sense. So now that been going through this targeting, now I see that, oh my gosh, this whole time she's been having reach of my kids. She's been handling them too. She's been teaching them that your mom is no good. Your mom is so bad. Look at your mom. Look at your mom. This. And me really believing that I'm so bad and I'm this and I'm that. So it's just a lot of elements into it. But it all makes sense now because I depended on her. I counted on her. I thought that she was really helping me, but she was not really helping me. Um, she's been manipulating me, and my mom was molested when she was little. My grandmother had 12 kids. Two died at an early age. But she had 10 kids, and they're from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. but she ended up moving out to California years ago. But my grandmother's deceased. But so my mom was raised amongst all these kids, and a couple of the older brothers molested some of the girls. So it's five girls, five boys. One of my uncles passed away, but um, so my grandmother gave up one of the sons, and she had kept the other son. Um, so my mom never truly forgave my grandmother for that. Um, she always thought it was my grandmother's fault that she got molested or she kept one of the kids or however it went. Um, my mom's brother died. Her closest brother had died a couple years ago. And like they were close in age, just close experiences in life, everything. And she never went to the funeral. She didn't go to the funeral. All she talked about is all the bad things he did to her, what he stole from her, what he did to her. Like, if I listen to her now, going back, replaying conversations I had with her, I can see that my mom is a witch and she has a lot of hate in her. Because I remember her saying, I remember the time I wanted to live with you and you wouldn't let me live with you. That's when I was on drugs really bad, and this was years ago. And it was like, I'm not letting my mom come stay with me and manipulate and run my household and all this stuff. That's what mindset I was in. But she's never forgiven me for it, because she brings it up all the time. And then I remember staying with her a couple years ago, um, until I found a place. I remember staying with her for like a month. I had paid her like $400, $400, and it was me and my three kids. And I remember her drinking and getting drunk, and she'd say, she just was gang stalking me, and I didn't know what it was really. I mean, I knew some bits were going on, but I didn't know it was the gaslighting. She was gaslighting me. Oh, you're so dumb. She would tell my kids, you guys are smarter than your mom. Don't listen to that dumb fat bitch. Um, she was just talking about me really bad. And I would just stay quiet because it was like, I don't have anywhere to go with my kids. I don't want to go to a shelter. Like, just let her act. You know, she was telling my kids, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And then she had grabbed my daughter's hair, my youngest daughter's hair. And, oh, you're laughing at me, you little bitch. And grabbed her by the hair. And I think I poured water on my mom. It was something. And I had finally left. But I left my kids there thinking, well, I got to go. Let me go because she's talking so bad about me. And she would be like, you can go. The kids can stay. And I would leave and go to the shelter for a couple days. Then she'd call and be like, oh, well, you can come back now. So the mind games and the manipulation was already planted a long time ago, but I was too blinded to see or pay attention to it. Now all the cards have been flipped over. And now I see that my mother has always been in hate. You know, you have people telling my mom since she's been young, a little girl, oh, you're so pretty, you're so pretty, you're so pretty. So that's all she knows is being so pretty. You know, I was over there a couple weeks ago, and this is when I didn't pay my rent, and I had bills, my car had broke down. And so it's like a manipulation, like she knew what was going on, I didn't. When I got to her house, the one tail light was on her car. I'm like, what the hell? So me and my kids get there, and then her and her husband are drinking at night, telling the kids, telling my two daughters. My mom used to always tell me, you were supposed to be biracial. You're supposed to be mixed. You weren't supposed to be black. You're supposed to be mixed. Then I have to look at it like, well, I have mixed daughters. You know, I have mixed kids. So her husband, it's an old demon that resides in him. He's 70. It's an old, hateful demon that resides in him. My mom has a stronger demon. His demon is more older. Her demon is stronger. Anyways, they were sitting up there drinking, and he kept saying, you girls are so pretty. You pretty. You got your looks from your grandma, and your grandma got her looks from her mom. So they're just saying the same things. And, oh, you guys are going to have a lot of money when you get old. You're going to have nice cars. And boys is going to be after you. And you're going to have good boyfriends and guys and all this stuff. And I'm just listening to the conversation. And this trying to get me upset or feel bad about myself. This is what God created me to be dark-skinned and big of nature. Or whatever, big stature, dark-skinned, big boned, whatever. Now the overweightness came from me. I have been getting attacked where it's been messing up my gut. in my system, my teeth, these black marks I'm getting all over my face, hard things coming out of my face. My appearance definitely has changed going through this whole targeting. But other than that, I mean, he was just saying, hateful, mean stuff. And I just took it. But I knew that when it was like, okay, me wrapping my mind around, okay, your mom has been a part of this all your life, and just wrapping my mind around the bigger thing, it was hard to grasp all of it. Um, but my kids had took a shower. My two daughters had took a shower, and when they got out, I gave them. Well, I took in the bathroom, gave them their panties and bras to put on, and my mom came in there. You guys don't put no panties and bras on after you get out the shower. You don't have all that stuff on after you get out the shower. You're teaching your daughters wrong. I said, I'm not teaching my daughters wrong. They're 9 and 11 years old. They're girls. They're supposed to put on their panties and bras when they get out of the shower. She told them, oh, when you guys get about 18 or 19, don't put all that stuff on when you go to bed with your boyfriend. So I'm thinking in my head, that's just red flag after red flag. Like, what the hell? Then I start thinking more like, oh, this is way bigger than what I thought. This is huge. So they got you training little kids to become sluts and whores. All for $1. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Then it's later and later at night. She comes with this big ass flashlight. Ha ha ha. And then you could hear her saying, like her demon saying, yeah, if someone put a lump sum of money in my bank account, I'm not saying nothing. Then my car, so I'm waiting there a couple days just so I can go get my car. So the husband goes, because I'm there without a car because my car's in the shop. So the husband takes me to go pick up the car. So we drive in his truck to go pick up the car. We get in there, pay for it. I get the car. He goes, I'm going to follow you. Soon as I pull onto the street, it's in daylight. Soon as I pull onto the street, he has his one headlight on me. So I'm like, oh, he's drunk again. But I'm like, oh, okay. Now we get to the house. His whole conversation is, oh, I don't know what he's talking about. He goes, oh, yeah, well, now you only have two choices. Two choices are to go to prison or die. Those are the two choices you got. So I'm like, so I'm listening to what he's saying because as a targeted individual, at some point, you start to just listen instead of running your mouth so much. You start to just listen. So I'm just listening to what he says. And so then I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, no, I'm just saying, people out there that just don't have nowhere to go or running the streets or don't have nothing or don't have a man with them, then that's the two options that they have. Saying to myself, this is okay. This is all strange. I haven't paid my rent because I had bills to pay. My car broke down. And it was like, I don't know what to do, what's going on. Okay. So the manager never gave me a eviction notice or nothing. Now I could tell the manager does not like me. I know he's a part of my targeting. I caught him coming in my house one day. Well, my son did. So I know he's a part of it. He just said, you can't keep up a unit like that. Hold up. And I was like, oh, no, you're going to get your money this month. So I've been trying to get the money up so I can go ahead and pay. Which I really don't want to because I really don't want to be here. But I really don't have any options. I have 3 little kids. So it's hard. Like I don't have any savings. I don't have nothing saved up. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And so yesterday I go pick up my daughter, and I usually go out one way. Now the incident about the kids and the school and all this stuff, so I was talking to school police. So now they've stopped my son from coming to pick up my daughters from school. They gave him a warning. They don't want him coming to pick up my daughters from school because he's older than the other kids, and if he gets into a fight with them and all this stuff, okay. He's a year older than the other kids. But okay, whatever you want to say. Okay, so he can't. So they know that I'm a single mother and that my son helps me to get my girls from school. Okay, so they stopped that. So then they're like, well, can you come pick up the girls every day and pick them up from school? Can you, so we can, because we don't want anything to happen. Yeah, this is a dangerous situation. So they know that if I do that, then it allows for no one to be in my house from these hours. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday I went to go pick up my daughter from the school, and instead of me driving the one way out that I always go, I go the opposite way out. Who do you see at the end of the drive? The manager in his vehicle with his cell phone. He looks up at me and looks like he's in straight terror shock. Like, so this is what I think is happening. I think that they've put cameras in this whole unit. They put cameras in my car. They've got cameras in this unit because they're knowing too much. They're knowing way too much. They have people that are camped around your house at night from morning to night in their vehicles. So every time you leave, they leave. If you hop in your car, just randomly hop in your car and drive around whatever place you live, you will start to see, if you pay attention, people be sleeping in their cars, all kind of stuff, waiting on you to move. But I had went to go to a rental assistance place here. And as soon as I went in, you just see the stuff on the wall that they want you to see. The lady asked me a million questions. How many times have you been arrested? Blah, blah, blah. And I told her, she's like, oh, that's a lot of times. I was like, yeah, for misdemeanor stuff, in my past, I do have a past. But what does that have to do with them giving you money to help you for rent? But it was just all odd. And then she said, what did she say? She said, well, this is how the system is set up. And then she said my daughter had farted in the place and they were laughing. My two daughters were laughing. I was like, that's not nice, you guys, calm down. And she said, don't push too hard or your bowels are going to be everywhere and someone's going to have to clean it up. And I said, how do you know I have bowel issues? Because since me going through this Targeted, I have bowel issues. I've been constipated. The smell is gross coming out my system. I've noticed all this stuff since I've been Targeted. I'm trust and believe, I know. And I've been going to a GI doctor. So why would you say that remark? She said it or whatever. And it's just weird. They have this whole town. Then I have to think I'm in the state of Reno, Nevada. It is a demonic place. They celebrate a lot of different holidays that are not even national holidays. They celebrate Alien Day. They celebrate the Dead Day, the spirit of the dead people. So it's not a lot of demonic activity going on. I need to get me and my children out of here. I need to find a way, get some strength, get some money together, and go. Not saying that the next town I'm not going to be targeted, because I've been targeted every town I've gone to. But when it's a town that's openly involved in some wicked stuff, oh yeah, it's deep. And even me going through this and seeing what my mom's position is in it and her husband's position is in it on this has opened my eyes to social services, to the police department. This is huge. This is big. They want to take your children, enslave them, entrap them. It's for sex, money. It's a mess. This is a mess. May God, the Creator, come down and devour these people of fraud. In the name of the Holy Spirit, in Yeshua Shai's name, have mercy on all the targeted individuals. God, be with us. Bleed the blood of Jesus Christ, the blood of Yeshua Shai upon us. In your holy name, amen.